Hey everybody, this is Mike from GetYourRockOut, and I'm here in Manchester Academy with Elliot from Alestorm. How are you doing, mate?
I'm very well. There's a hurricane outside apparently, but it's fine inside.
Yeah, you picked a good day for it. Very tempestuous weather for this kind of show.
Yeah, it was quite cold last night, but the show was really warm, so it was nice. But I don't appreciate it as much anymore.
It's always weird, isn't it, when you go to this kind of show at this time of year? You get really hot and sweaty inside, and then you have to go right back out to the tour bus again, and it's just a sudden blast, isn't it? It's like going into an icy lake or something.
It's worse when you come back into the venue and it's just a wall of heat and humidity, which you're aware is everybody's sweat hanging in midair. It's disgusting, but yeah, it's fun.
You're coming to the tail end of the tour now. You're on the last run of dates. How do you think it's been? How have you found the European crowds and the UK crowds as well?
Well, the European crowds and UK crowds are very different, but they're both good in different ways. Like Europe, they're a bit more, I won't say enthusiastic, because UK is very enthusiastic, but they're a bit like less inhibitions and they go completely insane, especially in the weird places like Croatia and Slovenia and places where stuff doesn't go very often. But then the UK is fun in a different way because you can get away with more stuff on stage because they understand the stage banter and they're a bit more appreciative of like British humour and stuff.
For example?
So, well, just a lot of the things Chris says are just completely nonsensical, and it goes right over the heads of European people, I think, sometimes. So he has to really like trim down what he says to the crowd and the references we make and things. Like there's a song, the song Shipwrecked, where he opens the song with like some sort of fairy tale about an adventurer who got lost in the sea, and on the UK recently it's been about celebrity chef Anthony Worrell Thompson, which, you know, makes people in the UK laugh because they know who he is, but you can't say anything like that in Europe because they wouldn't understand. So it's two different things, but they're both really fun.
I was going to say, would it make more sense if it was translated into the other languages? I guess you'd have to read up on who's a celebrity pariah in each country, you know, just some kind of research or something like that for it to work.
Nobody's got time for that. But we do kind of cater for the languages of the countries we're playing. Like Wenches and Mead, this song has there was like a special edition version that was the second verse. Oh, the whole song was in German. Like the whole song was translated into German, Weiber und Wein. So when we play in Germany, he does the second verse and the second chorus in German. So it's good to do stuff like that because it makes the people in those countries feel, you know, like that you've tried hard, which is nice.
I was going to say, I mean, which country do you think appreciates the whole beer drinking, adventuring message most? I mean, because the UK has got to appreciate a lot, but I would have thought a place like Germany, maybe even the Scandinavian countries, they would have appreciated that a whole lot more for some reason.
I mean, Germany definitely appreciates the beer drinking. Australia appreciates the beer drinking a lot. In the UK, especially on this tour, it's different because it's very gimmicky. This tour, we've branded it really well as Pirate Fest. So there are a very big ratio of pirates to non-pirates in the crowd. So I think they appreciate the gimmick and the adventuring and the lyrical themes a lot more just because they're dressed up and everybody's on the same kind of page. Whereas the Europe tour we just did, we were doing sort of like a co-headline thing with a German power metal band called Brainstorm. Yes. So it was all very kind of, you know, global in terms of genre. So there were fans from all different strands of metal there. The other support band was like a melodic death metal band, and then there was some, I don't even know how to describe the band Trollhagen in Europe, but it's kind of synth breakdowns mixed with like melodic death metal and circus influenced music themes, and a really good band. Everybody should listen to them. But yeah, we were the only pirate themed band there, whereas this is completely, you know, all about the same thing. So
was the idea then to have a Pirate Fest and then you found bands to fit that theme, or was the idea always to tour with these bands and then the Pirate Fest idea just kind of came out of that?
Well, there's been that thing Pagan Fest and Heidenfest in Europe, which is all these bands who supposedly believe in Odin and Thor and things like that. So we've always said, yeah, we should do a Pirate Fest, but there weren't really that many pirate metal bands. We made friends with Lagerstein in Australia, but it hasn't always been feasible to bring an Australian band over to the UK at least. And then Red Rum, who's also on the bill tonight, they're a reasonably new addition to the scene as well. So it's nice to finally be able to push the gimmick to its maximum limits and let everybody enjoy it properly. It's good fun.
It's interesting because you guys kind of fly the flag, so to speak, for, you know, pirate metal. Have you found that these bands have kind of been influenced by you, and then they've come on the same tour as you? It's all kind of come full circle in a way?
Well, especially with Red Rum, it's called Full Circle because they started their band as like a university project. You know, they had to start a band and record some songs in order to like pass the university course. And I think they covered some Alestorm songs, and then like fast forward 2 years, and here they are supporting us on big UK tour. So. Yeah, Lagerstein, I'm not sure how directly influenced by Alestorm they are. Like, obviously the drinking thing's the same, but their it's about pirates, but it's just more about fun and drinking and having fun, whereas we're a little bit more directly about pirates.
I think they are, I remember Phil starting Lagerstein after I met him at Alestorm gig.
So maybe like, yeah, inspired by us, but not so influenced musically or anything. It's different music. They're a lot more in the vein of like Dropkick Murphys and things like that. A bit more punk rock kind of sound to them, which is cool. Yeah.
I was back in analysis there by a bandmate who is currently naked and coming on camera.
He's coming on camera. Could I have a towel, please? Towel. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, very rock and roll with you, thank you. Let's talk about the new album. Let's talk about Sunset on the Golden Age. This is your first album with the band, of course, as a permanent member.
Yeah.
Were you like heavily involved in the writing process? Was anything? Have they told you that things were different now that you're involved, or is it kind of you slotted into what they were doing?
I was very involved in the process of this new album because the first two were kind of written. Or the first one was written by Chris and the original guitar and Gavin. The second one, I'm not so sure who contributed exactly to that, but the third album, Back Through Time, was entirely written by Chris. I think he had some friends, people who aren't in the band, he had some friends write lyrics. Something Midget Saw, I think, was written by a guy Chris knows, because it's just completely stupid. But yeah, this one's very different because it's the first time everybody's written something. Like, I wrote the song Quest for Ships, I wrote the whole song and the lyrics and everything. I wrote some lyrics to some of the songs. And then I've influenced like the sound quite a lot because I did all like the death metal and screamy and like hardcore kind of vocals like in Magnetic North, which has turned out to be a really popular song. And also like I played all the whistles and things like that as well. But then I made the DVD for the bonus kind of thing as well, which gives like a good insight into how it was all made, and it's interesting to see everyone's input to it, and everybody just has much more of a say in the process these days. And it sounds different from the other albums. It's definitely the same, it's definitely an Alestorm album, but you can tell that it's got different influences. Yeah, it is different.
And how do you find that translates to the stage show of people come up to you and said things are noticeably different now, or is it again, I mean, I'm just always interested when a new guy comes in, especially one who's heavily involved with the process, you know, how much is different and how much remains the same, and how much, you know, is that as a result of you coming in and kind of incorporating your own style into the live show, per se?
Well, that's interesting because the last time I was at this venue was when I came to see Alestorm supporting Sabaton, which must have been, was it 2010, that tour?
Yeah, about then.
And that was when it was just Chris at the front with the guitar playing with one hand, and it's all very like synthy melodies, and it was a bit more like pop kind of metal then. So now our live show is very different kind of sonically, and the appearance is different because we have like the keyboards and drums side by side, and we've just honed everything we do to make it look really, we brought loads of lights with us and everything. So this tour is a massive step up from whoever will have seen that tour. But yeah, the sound is just filled out a lot more. I'm not always playing stuff that everyone can hear directly, but if it wasn't there, then you would realise there's something missing. Yeah. Like there's a lot of times where people say, I couldn't really hear you, but you can, you just don't know that you can hear it. It just fills out the... Giving
things a bit more gravitas and depth.
Exactly, yeah. It's all... Chris's sounds are still very synthy and like pop sounding, and mine are a lot more realistic. There's like a nice contrast between the things that we play. So, yeah.
That's cool. Now, when people listen to this new album, are there any really cool drinking games that they can play for it? Or is it always just a case of just drink when you listen to it?
Yeah, drinking games kind of slow down drinking. I mean,
it's very true.
I suppose you could drink whenever you hear a pirate buzzword like ahoy or yar or quest or treasure, but then you'd have to wait for those things to happen, and that's slow. Just drink and listen to our albums. Or don't drink, just enjoy our albums. Yeah.
It's funny because you mentioned Red Rum there, you know, they kind of started out in university, and if it's anything like the university I went to, I'll tell you what will have happened there. Captain Morgan will have come on, and it will have been an instant rush to the bar drinking thing, because that's always the cue in university rock societies for that to happen. I wonder whether it was kind of the same thing. You may yet be influencing bands even to this very day who are going out and writing their own kind of pirate metal after that moment, you know, in first week where they hear Captain Morgan and they go and get themselves a drink.
Yeah, I think influencing bands to play pirate metal is quite a strange thing, because pirate metal is a lyrical theme. It's not really a... I mean, you can write stuff that sounds like sea shanty influenced and things like that, but the pirate aspect is very much just a lyrical kind of appearance thing. So that's the cool thing about Red Rum and Lagerstein, is we're all singing about pirates, but the music sounds different. So, yeah, anybody can write songs about pirates, but if you do something a little bit musically different, that's always more interesting than just sounding like Alestorm, because nobody wants to hear that, especially not us.
I consider that fair warning to anyone listening. Yeah,
it's great. If people like the style of music that we play and they want to do the same thing, that's also very cool. But it doesn't have to be about pirates.
All right, well, unfortunately we're going to have to wrap this up, but do you have a message into the camera for all our readers at Get Your Rock Out?
Yes. Go to bed early, listen to your mum. Yeah, that's about it.
Very sage advice. Thank you very much. Have a good show tonight, and I'll see you out there on stage.